just enough to be wild for the evening. We fall apart to start believing. I know this feeling drips down my body in the sun. This is the real thing, and I am overcome. Our hands are reeling, my heart beating like a band. Lift off the ceiling as I open up my hands. Oh, this is chemical. Oh, lost in a gold rush. Oh, this is the promise of reckless and ruthless love. We build it up with songs of the broken, caught in the rough between us and a moment. I know this fire reaches the corners of my truth. Oh, I am lighter when I'm reflecting you. Tonight I'm all in. I trade my past for something new. I'll let it reach in to see what this can do. Moving, moving, moving. It's moving, moving, moving. Moving, moving, moving. Going moving, moving, moving. Going moving, moving, moving. Moving, moving, moving. Moving, moving, moving. Moving, moving, moving. Going moving, moving, moving. Moving, moving, moving. Moving, moving, moving. Moving, moving, moving. Moving, moving, I know this feeling drips down my body in the sun. This is the real thing, and I am overcome. I know this feeling drips down my body in the sun. This is the real thing, and I am overcome. Our hands are reeling, my heart beating like the band. Lift off the ceiling as I open up my hands. Oh, this is chemical. Oh, caught in a gold rush. Oh, this is the promise of reckless and ruthless love.
Hey, good morning, Gold Creek. It is election day. And I'll tell you what, I am super, super excited to be able to be doing our devotion on the morning of Election Day. I'm excited for it. And I want to tell you, I'm excited for it because I get to talk about this in the midst of everything else that's going on. So if you're logging in, I just want to say, man, I'm pumped for you. I'm glad you're here with me. But I know there are people all over the spectrum on how they feel about today. Some people are really excited about today. Some people are really potentially upset about what's going to happen today. What I do know is a lot of people are probably very anxious about today. They don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. And so, man, I'm so excited that I get to share with you guys today. We are in the one-year Bible. The reason why I love reading the Bible every day of the year is because it's new and applicable for us every day of the year. And this morning is no different. So where I want to go, I want to talk about our anxiety and maybe what you're feeling, what you're not feeling. I want to talk about Election Day. We're going to be in the book of Psalms. We're in Psalms 105 this morning. And I want to give a little bit of context for it because in Psalms, this Psalm 105 is all about proclaiming God's greatness. Okay? So now we're going to be in Psalm 105, verse 17. It says this: "Then he sent someone to Egypt ahead of them. Joseph was sold to be a slave. He bruised his feet with fetters and placed a neck around his iron collar until the time came to fulfill his dreams. The Lord tested Joseph's character. Then Pharaoh sent for him and set him free, and the ruler of the nation opened his prison's door. Joseph was put in charge of all the king's household, and he became ruler over all of the king's possessions. In fact, he would instruct the king aside as he pleases." So the reason why I love that is it's proclaiming about God's greatness. And if you're unfamiliar with the Joseph story, it's an amazing story in the very first book of Genesis. So Joseph was a man who was after God's heart. He was a little arrogant in his younger years. He was sold into slavery. But what I love about this is that he went through a lot of really difficult times. He went through a lot of these moments in his life that it was unfair why he was there. There was like good people in bad circumstances, right? And what it shows with the story of Joseph in Genesis is that God was still in control the entire time. And there's this really important word, the word favor. Joseph had God's favor in all of the things going on. So what favor looks like is not necessarily you having a great, perfect life. What favor looks like is even when you're in a bad time, God still allows you to be successful. And here's why I want to talk about this morning. Tomorrow morning, you will either be very happy or very upset. Or maybe you didn't vote, which I hope you voted. But if you didn't vote, then maybe you don't really care about what happens tomorrow. But tomorrow morning, you're going to wake up either really happy, really sad. And just like I will have voted for a candidate that either won or didn't win. But there's this thing called God's providence. And when we believe and follow Jesus, there is a providence. There's a favor that happens in our lives where no matter what happens, God is still in control. And no matter what happens to us or our nation, God is still tightly favoring those who he wants to favor. So whether that's you in your life or our nation, it does not matter who's in the presidential seat. Because Joseph was in jail, Joseph was almost killed, Joseph was lied to multiple times while he was in jail, and yet he still became the ruler's right hand of Egypt and was in control of everything because God wanted him to. So for you today, no matter what happens, know God is in control, and God favors those who love him and follow him. So if we choose to love and follow Jesus, we have God's favor. It doesn't matter who is on the presidential throne. It doesn't matter because there's a greater throne that Jesus sits on and controls. I mean, that brings me immense peace. And if I struggle and if I get massive amounts of anxiety, even though that happens, that means there's maybe something wrong. Like, I'm not fully understanding who God is and the type of power he has. Because if we understand who God is and how powerful he is, it doesn't matter what happens in this world. Our future is secured in him. And then the very last part of the 1 Year Bible, there's always a proverb at the end. I thought it was very fitting. We're going to be in Proverbs 27. It says this: "Don't brag about tomorrow, since you don't know what the day will bring." I just thought that was interesting too, because tomorrow you're either going to be really happy or really sad. What can happen and what will happen with a lot of people is they're going to post, "Oh, I'm so happy," or they're going to say, "Oh, I'm so upset." How about you just don't post? How about tomorrow you post a positive Bible verse about how God has influenced you, regardless of who is elected? I am not wavered by the things of this world, because I know who is on the throne of the universe, of the heavens and the earth. So tomorrow, if you log on social media, don't post, don't brag, or don't talk about how upset you are. Why don't you post a meaningful Bible verse to you? Why don't you post some encouragement that has nothing to do with the election? I love you guys. Be encouraged. Man, we got so much to be thankful for. Love you. See you tomorrow.